Good morning, Infinity. Good morning, girls.
Good morning.
I've got Superwoman or Supergirl and Superstar. Who are you today?
I don't know where if I get
Queen of the Block today. Guy Kamaria joining us today. I'm Jeff Obafemi-Carr. I'm the Chief Spiritual Officer here at the Infinity Fellowship. And I want to welcome you to the October 31st, 5th Sunday edition of Infinity. It's an awesome Sunday today. I am looking forward to interacting with you in an awesome way. For those of you who are celebrating the ancestral space of Samhain, or All Hallows Eve, or All Saints Day, or Halloween, whichever tradition you pass and you follow and walk, we welcome you into this celebration today. It's all good here. We're here for enlightenment. We're here for love. We're here for uplifting. If you are watching, tag somebody that you love on Facebook. Send them the link. Make sure that you like the page if you're on Facebook watching with us. Make sure you subscribe if you're on YouTube. And we are ready for a wonderful Sunday morning of awesome fellowship at the core of consciousness and the apex of authenticity. So welcome to Infinity. Welcome home. Let's have a good time today, y'all. As we welcome you into the space today, we invite you into the sacred opening of the Infinity Fellowship. We open with prayer, we open with meditation. Meditation first. Meditation is when we hear from spirit. Prayer is when we speak directly to that spirit. So as we open the portal today on this amazing fifth Sunday, this amazing last day in the celebration month of the 7th year of existence for the Infinity Fellowship, we invite you to sit still for a moment as you are gathering your family, as you are gathering your friends, as you are settling into your space that you love to watch Infinity, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your tablet, whether it's on your big screen in the house. I'm looking forward to greeting each and every one of you in a moment. But I ask that you find a place of stillness, sit or stand a little bit taller, take a deep breath, and then let it go. Take another good deep breath, feel your chest expand. Let it go. Give another deep breath, feel the chest expand, and now bring the air into the lower part of your belly. Fill up on that good breath. Now exhale to let it go. Continue to breathe like this. Just a few moments of stillness, focusing on the breath. Allow your eyes to gently close. And in the closing of our eyes, we tune out the distractions of the moment. We tune out the reflections on days past and moments past. And we focus our energy on the right now. And all there is in this moment is the breath. Focus on the feeling of the breath as it enters your nostrils, warms your throat, and fills up your body. Focus on the breath as you exhale, sending the things you do not need into the atmosphere to be absorbed, recycled, and returned, cleaned, renewed, rejuvenated in the next inhale. As distractions come, allow your mind to clear by simply focusing on the feeling and sensation of breathing. Continue to breathe like this. And in your mind's eye, set your intention for this moment, for today. Perhaps that intention is to release, in the exhale, those things that no longer serve you. Perhaps that intention is to live in this right now moment. Perhaps that intention is to focus on gratitude and the fact that we are here for another day. Focus on that intention, feed that intention with the breath. Embrace this moment of peace. And in this divine stillness, we invite you to bow your heads, to open your hearts, as we now pour this energy into realignment for manifestation. all wise, all knowing, all loving God, divine source, mother, father, creator, we come to you in gratitude today. We come to you with utmost humility today, giving thanks for being able to rise up this morning, giving thanks for being able to show up this morning, giving thanks for the use of our limbs, giving thanks for the clarity of mind that brought us to this place today. We are grateful for the gift of family today. We're grateful for the blood ties. We're grateful for the bonus ties. We're grateful for the struggle of relationships that help us all to grow, recognizing that love indeed conquers all things. We're grateful today for those who are tuning in from all over the world, who come to this spiritual community for a safe haven of peace and a space of upliftment and motivation. We're thankful today for the men who are gathered, who are our speakers today, our elders today, our young visionaries today, who are coming together truly in the village to impart wisdom that will help lift us all up and forward. We ask that something is shared today, something is said, something is spoken, something is sung, something is danced, something is clapped, high-fived, or transmitted through the internet that will remind someone that they are always in your presence. And you are never not here for us, lifting us up and being the wind beneath our wings. We give thanks and gratitude in this moment for an awesome week of manifestation, for all the reports of celebration and gratitude that will remind us that life is good. And we thank you for the emanation of love in our hearts, that love that conquers everything and supersedes all. For these things and other things we cannot put into words, we simply say we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. And so it is. It is now time for us to pour libations to the ancestors, to celebrate those who have come before. And as we celebrate those who come before, we travel a few steps to the altar at the center of infinity that represents the fire, the water, the air, and the earth, the four elements. And on this altar, we have some pictures of those who have transitioned before. On this altar, we have stones from around the world, granite from the quarry where the great pyramids were cut, a lava stone from the island of Hawaii, the volcanic rock, the energy of life as this planet was forming. This plant representing the earth from whence we all came and shall return, and water, the substance of life that we use to pour to recognize those who have come before. When we pour this water into the earth, we recognize that we are completing a divine cycle. And so we pour in remembrance of those who have gone before, those who have transitioned into the space of life after life. It is in this moment that we recognize their struggle and that we recognize what they went through in order to make sure that we are here standing on their great shoulders. And And so as we pour this water, we use the Yoruba word ashe. And ashe means essence. It means spirit. It is a proclamation of, and so it is. It is life. It is breath. It is who we truly are. And so as we pour today, we say, cool water, freshen our spirits. Freshen and consecrate this house. Freshen our collective ancestors as we give praise to Almighty Mother, Father God, divine source and creation. Grant to us peace and prosperity. Ashe. We ask that at this moment that you invite your ancestors into this space. So either through a physical remembrance by speaking their names aloud, ask the kids who are sitting around you to remember Pawpaw's name and remember Big Papa's name and Big Mama's name. And this is a moment for you to call that out aloud, or you can chat with us and put it in the box. But remember those names at this time as we pour to the energies of those who have gone before. Ashe. Call their names aloud now. Tia Barbara Hill, Haywood H. Carr, Sing Gus Hayes, Della Mae Carr, Haskell B. Carr, Haywood H. Carr, Queen Mother Blaze Brunson, Mother Dorothy Smith. To these energies and voices coming in from the north that gives us direction, from the south that gives us remembrance, from the east that gives us reminder of a new day, and to the west where the day sets and the wondrous moon energy takes over, to the energy above of our dreams, to the energy below of our grounding, and to the space of the center where our heart resides, the things that we hold dear. We say together, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe-o, and so it is. My favorite 3 words that I get to say every single Sunday, 52 times a year, and sometimes a little bit more, fifth Sundays when we add those in. For the last 7 years, good morning, Infinity. Good morning. Good morning, Sister Kanitha. How you doing? I'm glad you have us here with us today. I know the brothers are going to take over, but you decided to come in and bless us just a little bit, and I'm glad you're blessing us a little bit, Sister Kanitha, and she's the voice of Infinity today, and she is here in the space. So we want to say good morning to you. We want to generate gratitude today in a wonderful way. We see you coming in from wherever you are in the world. This is a moment where we generate the gratitude of Infinity by saying hello to each other, and we sing the song, Good Morning to You. So we ask that you tell us who you are. Say hello in the chat box. Let us know where you're dialing in from and watching Infinity from. And if you want to drop one thing that you're grateful for, oh man, drop it in the box so we can celebrate you. The song is Good Morning to You. And the words, I want you to listen carefully because the words are really, really complex. Good morning to you. Those are the words. Dot, 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 dot. We sing a little jazz with it. Good morning to you. Come on and sing along with us. Good morning to you. 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 Good. All right. Who do we have coming in? I'm going to call off some names in the roll call simply because it's an awesome thing to do. I see Brother Denzel Caldwell. He's broadcasting virtually. Good to have you in the space today. Denzel, brother, I am looking forward to hearing some of your questions and statements during today's dialogue. Bring it on in. I'm looking forward to it from Nashville, Tennessee. Good to have you in the space. Natasha is in the space. Good morning. Good to have you in here today. Terrell, good to have you and the Lindsay family in from Mesa, Arizona. Good to have you, Brother Clyde. Good to see you in the space today. Oh man, the Hilliard family is in the space today. It's great to have you being married to my lovely wife for 29 years and many more. Clyde Hilliard Jr., Palm Bay, Florida. 29 years. Woo, we're going to be talking about that, man. We know that's something, man. We're looking forward to hearing some of your insights a little bit later, too, Brother Clyde. We've got also, next up, I'm just going to let Tony pick, and then I'm going to read whatever Tony puts on the screen. There we go. We got the Lee Hemp Farm in the space. Good morning to you, We're with it. Sing along. Get us going. That's a special word. We've got Angela Bartlett-Treese in the house. Cuz Angie in the space. Good morning, Infinity, from the Free Hills community of Salina, Tennessee. Grateful for the opportunity to spend some time with my parents, age 82 and 85. Hey, mama. Hey, daddy. We with you. Salina, Tennessee, East Tennessee is in the house. Free Hills, that space. There's a story about Free Hills. I'm not going to tell it right now, but Free Hills is truly a space that goes back to post-chattel slavery where free black people had their own community there. I've had the blessing to travel there, the gift of traveling there, seeing the cemetery and the history there. So we know all those ancestors are coming into space. That's that chill I'm feeling up my spine right now. I'm feeling that energy in it today. All right, who we have next? I'm saying hey to everybody I can in this early moment. Judy Glover's in the house. Good morning. This is Jay Glover from New York.
Come on, New York.
Harlem. Come on through, Harlem. Come on through. Just happy to see the sunrise every morning. Me too.
Man, yes.
Oh, man. I used to live in East Harlem, East 106th Street, between 1st and 2nd. So y'all know, we know about that. That and Bed-Stuy. We'll talk about that later. Next up, we got Jody Harris. I've got Robin Robinson in the house. Grateful to have both of my adult sons home this weekend. My heart is shouting with joy. I'm telling you, give thanks. I said, give thanks with a grateful heart. Don't get me into the praise and worship moment because I will do it. Next up, I'm following you, T, today. Jody Harris is in the house from Chattanooga. Grateful for the unconditional love for my wife and Granny. I know that's right. Come on, Granny. Come on, wife. Let's do that. Next up, I'm going to read these as fast as I can. I love it. Sister Rosetta's in the house. I'm going to tell you a secret, Sister Rosetta. I almost played one of your older songs that you sent us today in the program since it was Fifth Sunday.
Aww.
But I was like, I couldn't remember if I played it last Fifth Sunday. So yeah. It was Hold On, I'm Coming, but we're going to have some more stuff coming from you. Grateful for life, love, and family, friends, and all of the good things that will come. Expect great things, and great things will come today. Awesome. Who else do we have on here, T? We got Leanne coming in. Good morning from Belgium. Good morning, Belgium. Come on through. Grateful that I can spend this Sunday evening with Infinity. See, it's nighttime in Belgium, y'all. But we're global, so we're around the world. So whether it's early on the West Coast or whether it's nighttime on the other side of the hemisphere, we're happy to have you here, and we're grateful for you to share in this moment. I love it. Thanks, T. We got Cindy Terry in the house. CW is in here from Virginia. Good morning. We're saying good morning to you as well. It's always good to see you in the space. It's always good to have your energy in the space. And we encourage you all. If I can't get to all of you today, I want you to make sure that you talk to each other in the chat. What is happening now, Sister Kanita, is we built a great online community that is global, and y'all are getting to know each other online. We got a slate of speakers today that we're going to interact with, and people are from all over the world. We got 3 cities represented today. And what happens in the chat is people talk to each other, support each other, love on one another. And that is the beauty of the fellowship that is in the name, Infinity Fellowship. So y'all keep that energy going. We'll keep it alive. We'll keep it rocking. Who do we have on there, Tony? I think it's our, yes, Sister Michelle, coming in from Texas. Grateful that I'm staying dedicated to my walking and exercise routine. Awesome, awesome. I'll take a couple of more and then we're gonna keep it rocking, T. Great, we got D. Clark is in the house. He's not just on the program today, but he's sending a shout out in the gratitude space. Grateful for Infinity, CTS, Wheatley Heights, New York, y'all. I'm loving it. We're coming in the house. Brother Earl is in the house, and we are seeing that energy coming in. Good morning, Infinity. We're grateful. The parents of Jeff and Greg Carr, forever blessed. We're grateful, too. Thank you, man. That was a good one. You got me on that one. I'm grateful, too. I'm grateful. Mom and Dad. I'm grateful for Mama and grateful for Daddy now. We could tell some stories now because, you know, y'all, but Pop has been 20 years transitioned to the ancestors. Mom is 93 now, 93 years old now. Down with my sister, Mama, if you're watching, we love you. We remember you as that sweet, loving energy that you are. And my brother and I remember those times where we kind of messed up a little bit. And we remember going in those rooms saying, I can't stand them. But guess what? That was part of what helped us learn our lessons. And that's where we are now today. And, you know, everybody does what they can do. We're going to talk about that a little bit today, too. But we're grateful. We're grateful for our parents as well. Terrell is grateful. I'm going to say something about Terrell because he and his family watch all the way from Mesa, Arizona every Sunday. Grateful for Brother D. Clark's lesson from a few weeks ago. Feeling is the secret has been traditional. D. Clark is in there affecting people with these words. We're going to drop some more gems today in this space. Greg is in Richmond, Virginia. Great to have Virginia in the house dually today. And I'm grateful for the everlasting love of my wife, Tanya. Awesome. Tanya and Greg, good to have y'all in the space today. Yes. Good to have y'all in the place. I'm just having a good time shouting out everybody's gratitude because it's filling me up in this space. Who else do we have? Top Lakeisha? Yes, Lakeisha's in the house. The Taylor family, Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, grateful for a beautiful day, infinity, life, and breath. Asheo. We're going to see y'all a little bit later today, I believe, too. Got some candy for people who are coming by today. More on that in a minute. But we want to say thank you, good morning to you, and thank you for coming into the fellowship today. Make sure you get your journals ready and everything that you need for today's message. It's going to be a powerful circle. We're going to have a lot of fun. And that's coming up in a few minutes. For now, it's time for our statement of infinitude. And so it is.
All right. Good morning to you all. I'm so glad to see you guys. Good morning to Infinity. Welcome to the Infinity Experience live online. And y'all know how I like to do. I like to remind you about a couple of things here at Infinity. One, we don't tell you what to call or how to define the God of your own personal acceptance and understanding. That is an intensely personal, unique, beautiful relationship. But here at Infinity, we simply affirm your powerfully affirm your unique connection. Number two, whatever you call that source energy, you'll hear us say God interchangeably with the universe, divine source. What you see around you, baby, is the proof, honey, that it was showing off when you were created after the same image and likeness. And so now it's time to speak aloud the core agreements that bring us together at Infinity. We call that Infinity. Infinitude. Infinitude is defined in the dictionary as the state or quality of being infinite or having, guess what, no limit. We have a unique mix of faith backgrounds at Infinity, but what centers us is the spirituality we all share in common. For us, Infinitude is defined as infinity with an attitude, and that attitude is gratitude. And the snap you just heard is the spiritual practice that gives us life and meaning. Snap is on your screen, and we recommend you take some time to meditate on both it and our statement of infinitude by visiting our website at myif.org. The S in SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own personal understanding. The N is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action because we take action on our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, the P is for the proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. We are grateful you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. I invite you to join us in this affirmation of our statement of infinitude. We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. All are truly welcome at Infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen.
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 Hotep.
Hotep.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ashe.
Ashe. And so it is. If you are a first-time visitor here with us at Infinity today, we'd like for you to type "first time" in the box. We'd love to say a welcome to you that is heartfelt. It is the space of understanding that you are absolutely here for a reason. Somebody may have tagged you in the stream today, and you would have said, why did they tag me? I don't like being tagged on Facebook. But then you start watching it and you start saying, wow, wait a minute. This is the kind of place I've been looking for. Guess what? You may have thought that person didn't like you, but they actually loved you in a deep and profound way. If you're a first-time visitor, let us know in the chat box, and people will shower you with love, either with hearts, high fives. They'll speak it directly to you. Welcome to Infinity. But we'd also like to let you know that we like to welcome you directly. For those I have not met, I am Jeff Obafemi-Carr. They call me Rev Jeff around here. I am the Chief Spiritual Officer of the Infinity Fellowship, which is now celebrating 7 years of existence, headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee, but broadcasting globally to meet the needs of those people who consider themselves spiritual, not necessarily religious, but needed a space for community. So we welcome you, and I want you to know in this moment that I get the honor, I get the privilege of letting you know that although we may have never met physically, I know the real you, all of it, who, what, where, when, and why. Most importantly, I recognize and know you for who you truly are. You're not a human being who showed up today to have a spiritual experience, but it's really the other way around. You are a spirit who is navigating the human experience, just like the rest of us. So take a deep breath here. Exhale and release. If you're around someone, if you're near someone and you're watching Infinity with them, I want you to turn to them and hold your hands up. Send some energy their way. If you're a first-time visitor, receive this energy coming through the screen as it is delivered to you, as we send you our special greeting with all of the love and energy you deserve. Repeat after me. I see you, but you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You are more than what's on the outside. You are a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know, if nobody else does, that you are not alone. I am with you, and you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I know the real you, and I see you shining today. So welcome to Infinity. Welcome home. Asheo! Dance it out now. Give yourself some time to groove. Come on. Feel it. Yeah. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel. I feel it. Feel it. Yeah. I feel it. Feel it. Yeah. I feel it. Feel it. Feel it. I feel it. Feel it. I feel it. Feel it. I feel it good. Yeah. I feel it good. Yeah. I feel it. Feel it. Feel the groove. Feel it. Feel it. Feel the groove. I feel it. Feel it. Feel the groove. 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 Come on. Feel it. Feel the groove. Y'all thought I forgot, didn't you? Keep it going. TSU. Tennessee State. Sorry, Michelle, we got to kick it because. All right, so I had to give it to y'all. I had to give it to y'all just a little bit. It is TSU's homecoming. TSU homecoming scored a victory last night over the Races of Murray State, 27 to 21? Yes. But either way, homecoming, first time in a long time, people have been able to get together. So Tennessee State University, we're sending that to you. Fisk homecoming, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do. Oh, you don't have a song? Y'all can borrow ours. Everybody else has. So Tennessee State, all of the homecomings out there, to everyone who had a homecoming, MTSU had a homecoming. I don't do MTSU song. So, we got to play TSU funk and just let the alums out there feel the energy. But no matter where you went to school or no matter what team you love, this is a time of celebration. So we wanted to send that shout out of love to you and let you know it's time for our giving. So we're going to give with that spirit, that excited spirit, that spirit that makes you want to dance, because giving is a vital, important part of any spiritual community. So this is the opportunity that we get communally to pour back in to the Infinity Fellowship, to pour back in electronically. So I got so excited, left my phone at the podium. So I got to go and get my phone, because I'm going to give at the same time. I love to give on Sundays. Thank you to those who tithe and give during the week. Every time a check comes in, they send us something, and that's why we're here today. That's why we're growing. That's why we're a safe space for so many people, and that's why we are headed toward doing the great things that we were birthed in this world to do, to build housing for the underserved, to provide training for young people in the performing arts and the creative arts and STEM, making sure that we infect, effect, and affect the change we want to see in the world. So we want to let you know that everything is good. So as you prepare to give today, as your heart is moved to give, we can give, and you can give via Cash App, via PayPal, or via snail mail. We'll put the slide up. Infinity Fellowship is all over the space in terms of how you can give, and we're adding more options now as we speak. Cash App, $Infinity Fellowship. PayPal, paypal.me/Infinity Fellowship. And via mail, Infinity Fellowship, 641 West Nocturne Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37207. So let's prepare to give now. And as we prepare to give, we're going to say our offertory affirmation. So let's put our offertory affirmation up. I want you to take a deep breath. Exhale, release. Sit in that loving energy of giving now. And let's say our offertory affirmation together. O limitless, abundant Creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference. And so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken, and so it is. Take a deep breath here with me. Feel that good energy? Repeat after me. Everything is good.
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 I got it.
I got it.
You got it.
You got it.
We got it good.
We got it good.
Let's sing along, y'all. We got a giving song. So as you're giving, as you're working that thumb and that screen, go ahead and sing along with us. It's simple. Everything is good. 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 I got it. I got it. Oh, I got it good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. I got it. I got it. Oh, I
That's you. Yeah. What up, everybody? How y'all doing? Ooh, I'm doing very, very well. Thank y'all so much. So, good morning, Infinity. As always, if you've got something great that you want to report as a standing ovation later, go ahead and type it into the chat box for us at this time. So, welcome to October, the 10th month of 2021, the year of alignment. And our daily mantra is, everything's going my way. Woo! Yes, add a little sprinkle to that one. So, thank you. So, we speak that you are being safe at home and embracing this opportunity to explore your spirituality on a deeper level than ever before. Now, here are a couple of important reminders of things happening here at Infinity. First, candy bags are here today. Now, parents and friends, bring your kids by today over to Infinity Center to receive a free bag of candy to celebrate the Holy Day season. We'll be here from 1 p.m. till 3 p.m., so drop by the Infinity Center, 641 West Nocturne Drive, 37207. I'll repeat it again, 641 West Nocturne Drive, 37207. So, are you ready to rough it out around the campfire? Yes, we are excited to host our first Infinity camping trip right in our own backyard. We got fire pits, we got camp cooking class, and outdoor movies. We'll create fun for the entire family on Friday, November the 12th. And it is the overnight event, and it is for free. Gotta love that free 99. So sign up so that we can email you a list of supplies and do a Zoom orientation. Even if it's your first time, it is an opportunity to bond with Infinity and with nature. Now, what you'll do is you'll go to tinyurl.com. There's probably a link for that one, but if not, I'll just go ahead and say it for you. There we go. Boom, just like that. So it is tinyurl.com/sign-up-infinity. Now, and let us know that you're coming. Now, Rev Jeff and Lady Kenitha, it's time for the standing ovations. There we go.
Tune your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Brother T, Brother Tony I. We appreciate it. It's in the house, man. Always. It's bumping in this place. Okay,
right.
what's happening,
Our
Mama?
high energy here at IF comes from our practice of snap. It's why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys, that's spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week, that's nurturing. And we take what we learn and apply it in our lives, that's action. And guess what? If we do these, then every week we see progress in our lives, and that's the proof.
Yes.
So let
Yes.
us pause to enjoy a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. What we'll do is we'll call off your names as we receive them, and then we will snap our fingers to celebrate. But then at the very end, we are going to do a collective out of this world standing ovation.
Yes.
Woo, okay.
All right. So if you got something that you accomplished, that you finished, that we want to celebrate and give you a standing ovation for, put it in the chat box. We're going to get what we can, but we got a great program today. We got a great message coming up right after this. So we're going to make sure that we can get what we can get, celebrate with you, and dance, and then get down to the meat of the moment. First up, we've got standing ovation. It's something that is good that has happened. I think we've got Justin is in there.
Woo.
Awesome. We got Justin Redding. Justin Redding wants to report.
Yes.
Reached my goal of walking 100 miles in October by walking with my sister's 2 dogs every morning and evening. 100 miles.
Woo. Okay, y'all. Man, it's making me want to have to go out. And
Come on. Let's walk. Let's walk home today. Come
Okay,
on.
Will. All right.
Oh, it's only like 13 miles.
Congratulations.
Justin, congratulations, man. Shout out to you.
Yes,
Thanks for sharing that. It's
yes.
awesome news. We're sending you love on there. Next we have up. Bam. We've got Keisha Renee. K Renee.
Hey, Keisha.
She's a star.
She's a superstar.
I had not one, but 2 premieres for the movie I filmed this summer.
Yes. Woo!
Hey, I was at one of the premieres. We were there. I came and represented Infinity. I got a great picture with Keisha on the red carpet. We're so glad to know you. We know you're a star. And we're so glad you get to be in a film that showcases who you are. Y'all shower her with some love and some congratulations in the chat box.
She's a movie star.
She's a movie star. Y'all better get to know her. She might put you in her movie one day. You never know. I'm just saying. Keisha, give some shots. You know, we come from the old school. We there. All right, next we have up. We have D. Clark, of course. D. Clark. Sophia Clark being offered an internship at Deloitte Consulting Firm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Come on, Sophie. Yeah. Yes. That thing is on her way.
Oh my gosh, come on, man.
She's on her way.
Come on, Sophia. You Deloitte?
Good parents. They've been pouring in.
Y'all been working. Congratulations. Keep it going. Sophia's awesome. Student at Vanderbilt. Sophomore, I believe it. Oh, she's a junior now.
She's a Jew.
Oh my gosh, man. And an internship at Deloitte in Atlanta.
Yes.
That's job and money.
Man.
Come on through, universe. All right, who else we got? Y'all shower them with congratulations too. It's in there. Destiny is in the house. Our trucking company is ready to roll. Awesome. We have our authority and we'll start taking loads to other states. Congratulations. We know y'all been working on getting that trucking company established. So now that you have it ready, you're ready to roll on.
Yes.
Keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Tell your drivers don't try to run me off the road again.
Two different songs.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah. Okay.
On the road again. I just want to be on the road again. I just love to be out there making music with my friends. I just want to be on the road again. I love Willie Nelson, man. It was one of my lifelong goals to see him in person because he was getting older, and I was able to see him at a festival award that one of my classmates hooked up, and I said, man, he was rocking that thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Willie Nelson, the greatest, on the road again. All right, who else we have? We're gonna rock it in. We got people flying in here. Okay, great.
Yes.
This is from Denzel. Come on, Caldwell. Retroactive Standing Ovation.
Yes.
I spoke to my grandmaster about my certifications in Kung Fu. He told me to my surprise that for the past 2 years, I am not a 2nd degree black belt, but a 5th degree black belt.
Oh, my.
The first level at which the practitioner, I'm gonna get the rest from that, the practitioner shifts from apprentice master to master.
Oh my goodness! Woo!
Denzel.
Man.
Denzel be doing the martial arts. Come on, man. It's about time to start offering up. We got this space in here. When we start these small groups, bro, that's one of those things. We got to get it in there. Good. We got Sister Alicia. Hey, Ma. It's in the house. Carmen. Voices of Infinity Carmen, y'all. Carmen got to come home for the weekend. We are so happy.
Yes! I love you, Carmen.
Earl is in the house, and he is, oh no, did I miss somebody, Tony? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, let's do Brother Earl, I think. Yes. Brother Earl Terrain is in the house. We're celebrating that mean hat sister profiling. Oh, celebrating that mean hat the sister is profiling. We love it.
Yeah, we do it like that.
Pose that, pose that.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
That is in that space, y'all. All right, so tell us what to do, Mama.
Okay, so at this point, if you shared, then guess what? You get to have a seat, all right?
Several.
But the rest of us from all over the world, we're going to stand to our feet and give a thunderous standing ovation. Okay, so here we go. Those are the announcements, and so it is. Ashe.
Thank you, Sister Kenitha. All right. Today's meditation, as we prepare for the people that we're bringing in for the conversation, as I said earlier, we've got just a wonderful opportunity to talk to the men of Infinity. We call them men of Infinity. We got a strong group of brothers from all backgrounds here. I could have just thrown a rock and hit 3 or 4 exceptional cats here and brought them up. Luckily, we've showcased many people before in Infinity, and on Fifth Sundays, you know, when we're in person, we usually do Youth Sunday. We let the young people take over and run everything. Since coronavirus, we've had new opportunities to be creative. And in this space, we've done showcases of the wonderful members of the Infinity Fellowship, the talents that they've had, from Brother Shabazz Ujima, phenomenal choreographer, and shared the works that he's done, to Brother Andrew McFadden Ketchum, who is an award-winning poet and playwright. Today, we have 3 brothers joining us today who are sharing some awesome talents that they have in conversation. But we want to talk about what it takes to win first. Today's meditation comes in an appropriate way from the great Tennessee State University legend, a wonderful woman who I had a chance to meet and hang out with a couple of times when I was a young undergrad at Tennessee State University. She is one of the greatest runners in the history of the world, conquered polio and leg braces when she was a child and became the greatest woman Olympian of her time, the first to win 3 gold medals in 1 track meet. That's the great Wilma Rudolph. So today's meditation comes from the great Wilma Rudolph, who reminded us that winning is great, sure. But if you're really going to do something in life, the secret is learning how to lose. Nobody goes undefeated all the time. If you can pick up after a crushing defeat and go on to win again, you are going to be a champion someday. Winning is great, sure. But if you're really going to do something in life, the secret to learning, the secret of life is learning how to lose. Nobody goes undefeated all the time. If you can pick up after a crushing defeat and go on to win again, you're going to be a champion someday. This is how we do it. Pleased to welcome some of the marvelous men of Infinity. 2021 is the year of alignment. Today, all of Infinity is participating in that theme by sharing our unique gifts. Hold on to your seats, hold on to your pens, hold on to your journals. We all are looking forward to receiving your comments in the chat box and your questions. This is the time. Young cats out there, if you're struggling with trying to make sense of the world, this is the time to ask your questions. Young people, older people who are navigating this path, this is when we lean on each other. The wisdom comes from this circle. So I want to bring up one by one people who you've seen before, you've met before, you've interacted with them before, you sat next to them before. You've heard them on the broadcast, you've seen them in the space when they're here, but we get an opportunity to bring them all together in this powerhouse moment. So I'm glad we're streaming on both Facebook and YouTube, so let your people know. First person I want to bring up, he is an endowed professor, the Des Lee Endowed Professor of Urban Education at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. He is an awesome gentleman who I've known for almost 3 decades. I want to bring him into the room. I'm talking about none other than the fantabulous urban professor, Dr. Jerome E. Morris. Welcome to the room. Dr. Morris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for having me here. It's great to see everyone.
Great to see you, man. Great to have you in the room. I'm going to bring some other people in with us. Coming in from Wheatley Heights, New York. You heard him as our keynote speaker for the anniversary month here at the Infinity Fellowship. He was able to bless us in person as a motivational speaker, a man known as the creative thought scientist, a partner with Wallace Enos Associates in corporate America, an executive and family man, and all-around motivator. Daryl Clark is in the room, you all. Welcome, Brother
Hey,
D.
what up,
Clark.
Infinity? What up, Infinity? Happy to be here. Glad to be with you guys. And we're going to get on with this chat today. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to getting back into Nashville to be there live so we can do some more teachings and get deep into the science of self.
Yes, awesome. Next, I want to bring up another one of our up and coming young brothers. He is an innovator. He is a creative thinker. He is a corporate development executive. He is a family man. And he has a voice that we're going to eventually put on the radio because he's got that kind of presence, y'all. We want to bring into the room Brother Craig Major. Brother Craig, how you doing? I got to unmute you. We got to hear you.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me to this. It's great to be here. Hopefully I can share something of value.
Brother, you always share something of value by being who you are. First off, I just want to say this is awesome. Somebody out there in the virtual space who is good at doing computer work, you all do a screenshot of this for me because we got these dynamic minds here and they are in the space. I got D. Clark right here in the space. I got Brother Dr. Jerome in the space. I got Brother Craig Major in the space. And we are here to share these insights. First off, I want you to go around, and we'll go around in the order. We'll go Daryl, we'll go Dr. Jerome, we'll go Craig. Tell us, I've already told people who you are, so we've got you in that space and people knowing who you are, but let us know a little bit about your personal life. How long you've been married, how many children do you have, how old are the kids? I want people to get an understanding of where we are in this space.
Sure. Yeah, so my personal life was a struggle growing up, but learning the techniques and the tools to be able to overcome the obstacles in my life, I've been able to achieve great things. I've been married to my beautiful, lovely, supportive wife, Gina Clark, for 27 years. I have two children, a son, Elijah Clark, who is 24 years old. He's a lieutenant in the United States Army that focuses he's a cybersecurity officer, so he protects our country from foreign threats and even internal threats. And I have a daughter, Sophia. She's 20 years old and a junior at Vanderbilt University. And I've been in corporate America for 30 plus years. I'm a part owner of a company, and I love Infinity. I'm happy to be here, and looking forward to spending some quality time with you guys and sharing some valuable lessons that I've learned, and maybe they'll benefit someone else as well.
All right, Brother Craig, you're up.
All right, awesome. Yeah, my name is Michael Craig Major. I've been married for a little over a year now, but we've been together, me and DC, for about 10 plus years. We have two beautiful children, Zamora Mafini Major and Nancy Tendashi Major. I have been in corporate America since I basically left college back in 2012, 2013 timeframe, and have been in IT sales for a large part of that. It's been a great journey. I'm more so pursuing entrepreneurship and other things outside of my roles there these days, because I definitely want to be a lot more in control of my life and certain aspects of my family and home life, as well as my finances. So that's basically who I am. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, and I am 32 years old. So
Awesome. Got the crew in today. Dr. Morris.
All right, it's great to hear from the two brothers about their backgrounds and experiences. A little bit about me. I'm Dr. Jerome Morris. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and raised by a single mother. My mother raised 6 boys and 1 girl. I'm the youngest of the 6 boys in the family. And so I get at a backdrop in terms of understanding family that is central to who I am. But the other thing too is that I've been married for 29 years to wonderful, brilliant, beautiful, intelligent Mary Muse. My wife is from West Tennessee. We have a couple of children. We have a daughter, Amadi Muse Morris, who is a senior at Washington University in St. Louis. And we have a son, Kamal Muse Morris, who is a sophomore at Stanford University. We are both really proud of them. And one of the things that's really important to us and why this whole conversation around family and maintaining and supporting marriage, you know, and also inspiring others is that we have foundation within us. And I say all that to say that, Mary and I, we both educated our children, home educated. And we did it before it was a fad. Larry really was at the forefront of it. But we say all that to say that we have all that it takes to equip our children to become excellent in what they do. Because really, as humans, we've always, in community, educated our children. And that's why it's really wonderful to be on this platform with everybody. Thank you, Rev Jeff, for bringing us together, because you help us realize and recognize that in community is who we are, and that's how we thrive. And so having this opportunity to share with these brothers and even to share to the Infinitude community is a communal endeavor. And it's really taking us back to who we are. That is, we are people who are in proximity with one another. We become great by being in community with one another. Thank you, Rev Jeff.
Man, look, it's awesome to be with you guys. For people who may be new, though, I also need to make sure that I let people know that I've been married to the awesome Kenitha Carr for 13 years, together 14, knowing each other almost 20. And together we got 5 awesome children: Jamoke, 26, Joshua, 20 now, not 19 anymore, Daniel, 15, Kai, who is 12, and Kamari, who's 10. So we've got 5 between us. And of course, I'm the Chief Spiritual Officer of the Infinity Fellowship and the co-founder, along with Kenitha, of the Infinity Fellowship. Guys, between us, because now we're going to have some real talk. Between us, we've got about 82 years of lived experience with marriage, relationships, and family. So just like when we talk about the village concept and the concept of the elders coming together and the young, and we've got generations represented here. We've got, Brother Craig has little bitty bitties. I've got medium bitties, and then some of y'all got all the way grown-ups, right? So we have this 82 years of energy that's represented today, and I'm just humbled by all of you taking the time. So one thing that I know people get the benefit from is having a conversation with the brothers the way we talk when we're by ourselves, when we're in the barbershop, or we're sitting in the front room. And Kenitha used to ask me that all the time. She's like, I love hanging out and hearing how the men talk when they're with each other. There's something else that's there. Listen, that's what I want to have today for a few minutes, because our community deserves that. We live in an era of polarization. And I was listening to, I believe it was Arthur Brooks, who was talking about dopamine and how dopamine is fed in the brain by a number of experiences. There are pleasurable experiences, but also there are experiences that excite us, including polarization. So there are so many arguments that are taking place that are polarizing people in this day and age, that the negative effect of polarization is we have become addicted to the polarization itself. So we get on the internet, and the algorithms teach us to find the things that allow us to attack other people. And that very same behavior, although it's killing us psychologically, is becoming addictive to us. So the question I want to ask, and again, we can jump in with each other, because in a minute I'm going to invite everybody to jump in with us and to ask questions or to put their comments in. But I just want to, whoever wants to go first, let us know the answer to this question. Family, and give me all 4 on the screen, if you will, Tony, so I can see. I want to see everybody on this space like we're sitting around in a circle. How do we navigate? How do you navigate marriage and children in the current social environment? How do you navigate it? Don't be shy. Oh, mute the feedback. Okay. Oh, mute themselves or use the headphones. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Okay, go ahead. Jump on in. How are you navigating?
Go ahead, go, brother.
Okay. Thank you. I Yeah, I have completely disengaged from social media. Largely, can y'all hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. But partially for that reason, I was like, I'm realizing, like, why am I giving all these different people I don't even know that well all this amount of energy? And then it became a thing of, okay, if I want this, even though it's fun to be on social media and it's good and dialogue and I enjoy interactions with other human beings, I had to realize I had to give up, something that was maybe a little bit good to me or a little bit fun in order to get to a level of greatness that I'm looking to achieve. So and as well as keeping my relationships intact with my family and those other loved ones and friendships that I have around me, it was like, okay, I'm spending all this time on this thing. Let's create a little bit of friction here by simply at least logging out of this platform a little bit, not just having it to where it's easy to just go to my phone and tap it and boom, I'm back on there, making it to where at the very least I got to log in. Then I moved into a space of how do I create more friction? Okay, let me delete this app off of my phone completely. Then I got to download it and go back into it and log in. The reason why I did that as far as helping me navigate is because I realized that time was becoming more and more precious to me, and the time that and how I was leveraging or utilizing that time was going to be pivotal to where I'm looking to be in 3 to 5 years and where I want my family relationships to be, where I want my relationships with my loved ones to be over the next few years. It just wasn't tenable. Essentially, it was untenable for me to continue to engage in social media the way I was and go down the path of, oh, I still want all these other things over here too. Now, some people can leverage social media. Me, it wasn't getting me closer to where I wanted to be. Some people are able to leverage social media in a way where it's helping them achieve certain things. And I'm not speaking against any of that. If you're doing that, do your thing. But for me personally, I was like, okay, this isn't actually in alignment with where I'm looking to be and where I'm looking to go. So in today's social climate, I mean, for most people, it would be beneficial to disengage from those platforms for extended periods of time at the very least. If you're leveraging it for the good of something or for your own betterment, then great. But me personally, I was like, look, this isn't really good. And ever since then, I cannot lie to you, more and more better things have happened for me since I've disengaged in the areas that I'm focused on, since I have disengaged from those platforms. And I've been off of them for months. And I have people that come around and be like, oh man, you can repost it. Like, man, I want to help you out with that, but then I got to log back in. I don't want to log back in. I don't want to go back in there. I want to stay right here where I am in this real world, in this real space with these things that I have going on in my life. That's what my focus is on. This and that has been. It has honestly made a big difference. It's made all the difference in some ways with specific areas because it became about all right. Minimize your distractions first of all. What is this doing for you? This and all these other areas that you can easily become distracted with. Like you can waste a whole day on just four different activities and move no closer to maybe a goal or whatever it is that you have set out in front of you in your life. So for me, spending more time with my kids, spending more time with my quality time with my wife, calling my mom more. Like if I gotta call all these people, I gotta call my mom, I gotta call my dad, I gotta reach out to friends. Hey man, how you doing? We ain't spoken in a while. Just want to check on you, because I don't want to reach out to people only when I need something. I want them to feel like, no, I'm thinking of you. So even when I'm thinking of people, I send just something as simple as sending a text. And that has even made the difference. That's led me to areas where I was able to fellowship with some brothers in my fraternity just the other night because I reached out to a brother just to say, hey man, just wanted to check on you. And he invited me out, and I didn't even realize they were going to be getting together. So that was much more fruitful. We were able to sit around and talk and discuss
And Tony,
about,
when I'm talking, there's a mute
where.
button at the top right of the keyboard.
I'm sorry, is there somebody else talking?
No, go
Okay.
ahead. It was in there, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but just talking to them about in general, like where we want to be financially and sharing all these things we've learned and be like, man, 2020 was crazy. We haven't seen each other in like 18 months or 2 years almost. Like that was a lot more beneficial to me, my spirit, and just my emotional state, I believe, than anything else I would have been able to gain from the current social environment and consistently wanting this. I guess looking for the confrontation on a regular basis on social media with someone else that's, hey, I disagree with you. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen this meme. It comes up like with a guy sitting at a table with a sign that says, I'll argue with anybody about anything. I'll argue with anyone about anything. And that's where I was on social media almost. It's like, you want an argument? Let's do it. You want to talk about this? Let's discuss it. Let's go. Like, and that type of stuff is it's cool. I get it. You crave that human interaction, but I'm looking for it in a very different way now, a much more collaborative way, and not trying to solve the world's issues via social media platform. And once we walk away from it, there's no difference or change that has actually been made. So, but that's my 2 cents, if you will, on that.
All right. Who else is next?
Yeah, I
Jump
got
on
you.
in, Clark.
Yep. So can y'all hear me okay? Yeah, so Craig, I appreciate your answer. And social media has its place, but it should not be a resting place. And what I call it sometimes is an attraction to distraction. And when you are distracted, then that means that you lack focus and you need to have focus in your life. So for me and my family life and social media, it's a little bit easier for me now because my children are grown. But I can tell you what we did. My wife and I, as the kids were developing and growing up in their elementary years, and we had a program in our home called No Technology Tuesday. So on Tuesday there was no computers, there was no TV, no radio, no phones, no iPhones. It was our social time, right? So we spend time together talking. We play Scrabble. We talk about how was your day today? What did you do to help somebody today? That was another thing that my wife demanded, that we all ate dinner together. Now, some families, don't have that family time and they're distracted. People are eating at different times. But one thing that she made sure of is that we all sat at the table and we ate together. And when we did that, that was another opportunity for us to commune and talk to the children. A lot of parents these days don't, you know, designate the time to talk to their children, and it's so important to talk to them even now as our children are grown. We have designated days where we will call them at a specific time and have conversations with our children. Now, of course, sometimes it's more than that designated time. They can call us anytime they want, and sometimes we feel like just reaching out to them just to say, hey, the spirit moved me to just call you and talk to you about your day and see how things are going. So, the times that we spent with them, we kept them focused on making a contribution. We kept them, as Brother Jerome was saying, we had them involved in community activities. Both of our children were involved in the Negro Business and Professional Women's Clubs, elementary program for the children all the way up until they graduated from high school. So they were around other successful people as role models to see what they were doing and how they were living their lives and how they could be successful. And we made sure, that our children, they saw us reading, right? So, I'm an avid reader, a book a week. So my daughter and son would see us reading, my wife and I, so they would emulate that and they would want to read too. I mean, I can show you pictures. I can show you pictures in my phone of our daughter, on her bed, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, reading, studying, hitting the books because, she wanted to have good grades. And, I told you this before, Brother Jeff, that, she got a perfect 800 on the math section of the SAT. And it's not because, she wasn't, when her friends would go out to the mall and hang out. So I'm not saying my daughter was a prude because she's not, but she knew where her priorities lie, right? And because she put in that effort, right? When you put in the effort, extra blessed, right? It's just a law. The law of accumulation says that the more you do something, the better you'll get at it. It's why repetition is important. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So she worked on it and she's, did those study problems and, took certain SAT classes. Then all of a sudden now she's getting the perfect 800 on the SAT, and that's why she's down there and accepted at Vanderbilt and Notre Dame and many great universities. I mean, she was offered to go to Johns Hopkins universities to run track, but she didn't want to continue her track career. She wanted to focus on on her books and her studies, and right now she's chief of staff at Vanderbilt Student Government. My son, when he was at the University of Pittsburgh, he did the Army ROTC program with them because he wanted to maintain his focus and his discipline, and by doing that and having a regimented schedule, he was able to make the dean's list several times. So that's why he, excelled in information science and business, and is now a cybersecurity officer. So the main thing to me is spending quality time with your children, having them, around positive people. When you walk into the Infinity Center, there's a business card right there. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You become like the people you spend your time with. So you want to spend your time with positive people, people that have a good influence on you to help you build a solid foundation so that when things, seem to go awry, it's not that difficult for you to get back on track. Appreciate the time, fellas.
I appreciate it again, Rev Jeff, having us together here. One of the things I'm hearing Michael and Daryl talk, I heard an intergenerational analysis of social media. And so one of the things is that, so having people with these various perspectives, maybe like Daryl, so Michael, I'm just really getting hip with social media. I've been talking with Rev Jeff about it. So it was something that's crucial to your identity. It's not something that's fundamental to my identity. So, but the beauty of the intergenerational piece is there because my children, I talk to them, they've hit me to a lot of it. And I recognize that if I'm trying to communicate with young people too, that we have to learn from you all. And so we need to be aware and engage, paying attention, but also for me, similar to Daryl, I always go back to who are we fundamentally as human beings? And we interact in villages, we interact within tribes, within groups, and we have, for the most part, a few close, very close friends. In this part about all these thousands of friends, that's not how humans function. And we understand that's part of a capitalist structure too. And that's something that's creating this. But there is beauty and importance, particularly for young people to be in the social media. So I don't castigate it. I look at it as just a tool, a tool to learn, a tool that we can use to our advantage. Clearly, Michael, you understand it as a tool, but we have to bring all of that in. That's why we're going to have Michael to teach us how to use social media in our interests so that we can really develop what we're trying to do and expand our vision. And Rev Jeff, I think you do a wonderful job of bridging that gap, that generational gap that we often see. So again, getting back to how do I manage it, I'm going to stick with that part. It's managing, navigating it, family, by always remaining thinking about who am I as a human being. And it's not, it would be the same like if I existed 1,000 years from now. We are still human beings, and there are some core things about us that will never really change, and so that is that we need to be loved, that we need to be in communication, that we need to we think about our futures. We want to remember the past. We need relationships, and people, as they say, make the world go
round. When you add that element, one thing that I'm loving about the energy here is that it is intergenerational. And when we're talking, and especially when we're making a couple of comments, because this next question I'm going to go around, I'm going to give a specific order. I see brother Craig, who has the youngest two, right? He's got little bitty bitties, and they're doing little bitty stuff. But I see him nodding because when we talk about the village concept, we talk about it in an idealistic way, and sometimes we idealistic. So it takes a village to raise a child. That can have a negative connotation because we mix that up. And I've seen it mixed up. I've done a lot of counseling over the last 20 years with people. And when we hear the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, that can be misconstrued as I'm going to let the village raise my child and I'm not going to raise them. So I'm just going to turn my child over and let everybody else raise them. So we're going to get together, we're going to hang out, and every time we hang out, everybody's going to be raising my child, but I'm not going to be doing what I need to do in the home unit to make sure that they are a part of the village. That's what the village, it takes a village to raise a child means. It means that you are existing as a component part of the village. And then in those spaces where there may not be a father, there may not be a mom, there may not be a grandfather energy, other people come in and supplement the foundation that we are providing at home. So it's wonderful because being able to absorb, I see with Craig, being able to absorb that the energy that we've been there, that's where the elders come. And I'm at this space where I'm starting to tip into the elder space now, because the people who were elders for me in teaching in the village are literally no longer here. They're starting to transition into life after life. So we're beginning to realize, we talk about the elders, oh my gosh, man, I think I'm one of those people now. When we talk about the elders, having a family unit, however you put that unit together in this day and age, having a community, having a space where you can come together and get wisdom, it's of a vital importance. That's why this conversation is of vital importance too. But I want to go in this order, and this is an intergenerational conversation, but I want to have each of you ask the other a question, something that you are interested in knowing, that you've gotten just from our early conversations here, that you would ask each other. And then I'm gonna open up the floor so that people can read some questions in. So we're gonna start with Dr. Jerome, Brother Jerome, then Brother Daryl, and then Brother Craig. Shoot, ask the question for everybody. We're gonna do a speed round. Ask the question, anything you wanna know.
Well, let me just, both of you, I just want to know, how do you both see yourselves as fathers and as leaders? And how does that guide the way you believe that you should relate to your spouse, as well as the role you should play in the development of your children?
You to go first.
Okay. It's a deep question for me. So for me, it's how do I see myself as a father? It's I guess you can say the pace setter. I've noticed that in I know some people may have an issue with traditional ideals, but I've noticed that in my household, whatever direction it seems like I start veering off to or going towards, my wife follows suit and the kids follow right behind her, basically. So that has set me in a mode of, and even before I really noticed it, I was like, okay, I've started to realize that if I want my children to be this, do this, have this, I have to do all those things. I have to essentially set the example. To harken back to what the brother was saying about, seeing that our children saw us reading and things of that. Our children see us reading regularly. They see all the books around the house and they recognize, oh, okay, this is a reading household. Now, my daughters Amora may veer against that because there's My Little Pony, literally still My Little Pony, and tons of other things that are on television for her to watch. But she's recognized that, yes, reading is important. We don't have a television in her room. We have a little bookcase for her in her room. And I have told my wife, I don't care how long you with me, we will be a one television household for as long as I'm living here. So I don't do any of that other stuff because I recognize the distractions that it causes. I used to be a TV fiend as a kid, and I've recognized the dangers of that. But my main thing is seeing myself as a father. I have to be the example. I'm the CEO. I'm the everything basically within my household. I have a feeling that I have to. I get up before everybody in my household, partially to maintain my own peace, but to have some moments of myself, but also to get some stuff done um, before and set the example. Like my children see me working out, they see me reading, they see daddy taking care of mommy and taking care of myself. They see me cooking, even cleaning. All of these things are like I am doing this intentionally, partially because it's the way I want to be, but also because I recognize they're looking at me and they're watching what it is I'm doing. And regardless as to whether or not I may think they are, they might be recording some permanent memories. I want to give them as many chances as possible to record a positive example that they saw from me. But also, I want to make sure that I'm investing enough time into them and into my wife, basically, so that they know that I'm not just a doer or a producer, but I'm a full person, and I want them to know that the love is here, as well as multiple other things. So that's my goal, though, to set the right example first and foremost, and also to provide tons of love, so they have the confidence and the belief of this is the stock I come from, but also this is the love that I can fall into basically in the time of need. So
Hey, listen, the future is bright with young black men like yourselves, man. So I'm really, really pleased and happy to hear you say, what you just said. And I just want to make sure that I understand the question correctly. How do I see myself as a father and as a leader? Correct? All right. So in answering that question, and you know me, Jeff, I like to answer. I like to speak in terms of science, right? So it all starts with thought. And one of the things that I do is, let me answer your question directly first. I see myself as a great leader and a great father. Okay, and the reason why is because I work at it. I work very, very hard at it. I'm a hard worker, and as Craig said, the children see that and they know that. But one of the things that I do constantly is I'm constantly working on my self image. You can never outperform your self image. So, some of the simple things that I do is I write down 20 I am statements every single day, every single morning before I leave the house. I am great, I'm wonderful, I'm a good husband, I'm a provider, I'm successful, I'm smart, I'm disciplined, I am a hustler, right? So I do that, and Jeff talks about infinitude and gratitude. I do five, things that I'm grateful for. And there was a recent study. There's actually a book out about a guy that interviewed 17 billionaires, and there were three things that they all had in common. Every one of them got up before 5:30 a.m. Every one of them read for 30 minutes in the morning, and every one of them exercised in the morning. There's one thing that they all have in common, and it's something that I implemented into my routine as well. Something that I do all the time. Not that I'm going to be a billionaire, but success leaves clues. So if you do what other successful people do, then you'll end up having some of those success results as well, and that's what's helped me lead the life that I've been able to live.
D Clark, in this case, it comes right back to you. You got two questions. You got a question to ask of Dr. Morris and the Craig too. So I know you're
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
give us a deep
So
one.
absolutely. So my question is, with the uh, racial tension in the society today, how difficult is it to have those kind of conversations with your children, knowing that they may have peers, close peers of people from other persuasions?
That one of the things, can you all hear me? Yes, one of the things that as a family we've always talked within our household about these dynamics. The other thing is that my children at predominantly white universities, Washington University in St. Louis and Stanford, and they are interacting with children from all different backgrounds. But we've encouraged them, like our son is economics major, maybe political science. Our daughter's psychology, but we also told them that you should have a double major in African American studies. And we say that because we know the African American studies is a continuation of what we've given them so that they learn about how to think intelligently and talk intelligently and about issues around race and dynamics and understanding that, though these issues seem like they're recent, they've really been ongoing. And there are a lot of things in terms of race and racial inequities. They're really at the foundation of American society, that Black people were not brought here to become leaders and to thrive, but we've survived and we thrive despite of. And so it's really about helping them to realize their greatness, but having that rootedness in their history and understanding. And even prior to enslavement, having a deep understanding of who we were as African people before that. That's also fundamental. So, getting back to your part, Darrell, around you bring science into it, and that is that who are we fundamentally as human beings? I always go back to that, and also where did we originate? Who are we? And so, a lot of the ways in which we think about race is really within the construct of society and not necessarily in terms of who we are biologically or anthropologically as humans. And so I always have that part. You always want to keep that in your mind because they're going to interact with people across race. And we have to teach them how do they interact with people to, even if they have friends or relations with people across race, how is that um, how do the history of America and racism impact that? But how do they even think and not allow that to dictate the way they relate to one another too? So it's really a careful balance, and it's being conscious of racism and racial subordination and structures, but also enlighten or darken in ways to transcend that in a way that helps you to be healthy and whole in who you are as a human.
Awesome. All right. That's great. Brother Craig, it's up on you. And then after you answer, you get to ask your question.
Okay. So when it comes to me, my children are 1 and 3. Like they're not. My daughter will be 4 this December. My son will be 2 in January, January 14th. We haven't gotten there just yet. My son's favorite word is no, right now, and my daughter's is she speaks, but she's mostly practicing talking and making up things that don't exist. Uh, essentially, like she's just talking to me about imaginary concepts at this point and exploring her imagination, and I definitely try not to curtail that too much. But we haven't reached those conversations just yet. I know we're going to in the next year or two with my daughter, especially with some of the things she's already starting to say. So it's but as far as the conversation is with my wife is the closest thing that I can come to with that is that we've found some things out. We've recognized certain realities of this world, and we've decided what we're going to deal with, what we're going to tolerate, and also what we're going to ignore, based on whether that thing is a distraction. Is that a distraction, or is that something that's worth us even latching on to? It's like a dog chasing cars. Like, no, 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 you see that? Chase that. Like, no, no, I'm not going to be distracted by that foolishness because I recognize digging in deeper to deeper layers helps you understand why things are the way they are. Like, my brother talks about us being, where people come from or where our people come from in general. Like, why isn't that even spoken about? And that's because once you start pulling at some of those strings, everything else kind of, the whole ball of wax kind of unravels. If you start displaying certain truths within this in society, it goes, oh, well, I thought it was this way, which comes back to these things like critical race theory that they don't want being taught into institutions. They don't want that being taught, not because they don't want the children feeling that. I want to say personally, publicly, I don't believe that as a whole, it has been cared about how children feel on a grand scale. Black children and or white children, more so definitely not black children. But when people express that, I'm like, you're being very disingenuous with that to me. The reality is you don't want the change to happen because you know the same way you created those lies, it's the same way they can be disbanded is by generational information. That's the way you keep a lie going. All you got to do is tell it for an entire generation, and people will eventually believe it to be the truth. You tell it for two generations, and nobody is alive long enough who actually remembers the truth, then you got a full scale. We have rewritten history now. And when these truths start coming to the forefront, like for instance, there were so many people that learned from the Watchmen, the HBO series, that they were like, wait a minute, this whole toast, this really happened. Like it starts with the race riot, which was which is how they deem it, and I find that hilarious in and of itself in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there were so many young white people tweeting, "Wait a minute, this happened? Like for real? Like this is an actual thing? Yeah, this is an actual thing. This really happened." So the reason why they don't want that is it has nothing to do with the child's feelings and everything to do with, wow, this is going to completely change the paradigm. If our children recognize that this is the way things are, and these people have been discriminated against in this way, and this is why things are the way they are today, then they will actually recognize that, oh, wait a minute, it's not just based on achievement and we're not all that special. Oh, okay, we've had certain advantages and other people have had disadvantages. Not like, oh, you were born too tall, you were born taller than me, because I love when people say life isn't fair. I'm like, that applies to things that we can't control as far as I'm concerned. That applies to, oh yeah, well man, he's 6'4", you're 5'9", he probably gonna make it to the basketball team and you not. Oh man, he's bigger and stronger, he's built this way, you're probably not gonna make it here. Or she looks like this, sorry sweetie, she's probably gonna be a model before you because she looks like this, and this is how society works, unfortunately. But when it comes to things like structural things that we have put in place, I when it comes to that, that's what they do not want. Because once you change that for the next generation, they're going to make sure things are a lot fair, and they're going to understand where the problems are, basically, that they, in the lies that they have been taught. So that's the thing on that. But when it comes to me and my wife and rearing children, we try to make sure that they understand not just tolerance but acceptance, along with the realities of the world at the same time. Because not observing these realities in the way the world is currently, as a black man, as a black person, it can lead to you being harmed, potentially for you pretending like something is one way when it's really another way.
Man. Okay, shoot your question, and then we're gonna do a rapid speed round. We got some people to get in on the chat, and then we're gonna do this. What question you got, brother Craig?
Want to know, what is something you would tell young men, even those who are younger than myself necessarily, that you wish you had known, taking all the wisdom that you've gained over the years that you've been on this earth, on this plane. What would you say to a young man who's starting his life 22, 25, and he's like, man, I just don't know what to do, I don't know what to focus on, I don't know what I'm supposed to be here? What would you tell them, basically, that you wish, like, man, if I had known this back then, over the last 10 years, where I would be here now, like if I had just known better about that, what would you say to them as far as advice, like maybe 3 to 5 things that you think are really important for them to know as young men?
I would say like 3 to 5 things, but one thing that I've I have told young men, and part of this is driven by the fact that when I was growing up, the people who I had to serve as role models were people from the community. I grew up in a public housing community in Birmingham called Central City, and so I saw. Um, I have 9 brothers, and all of my brothers experienced some form of incarceration, and I give that backdrop here to say that sometimes we don't have the modeling. Sometimes we don't have people giving us the advice. Sometimes we make mistakes along the way. I grew up, biological father did not claim me, as a child, but I understand who my family is and biological family. So what I'm saying is that sometimes, no matter your circumstances, you probably don't have the modeling or the adults who are teaching ways to be liberated black men. Okay. And what you have to do, maybe you can study other people. So, one of the things I would say, find some men or people, sometimes they're not African American men, but who are some of the people you have seen that have modeled leadership, that have modeled fatherhood, that have modeled what it meant to be a husband and demonstrated to you what it meant to be a husband or a father, and study those people, study and learn from them, because then, even if you don't have it around you every day, study and learn from them. I will honestly say, I grew up, I did play sports, I had coaches, and I had great coaches and I had bad coaches. Coaches was like fathers, and there are some great things I picked up from them. I had wonderful black teachers, male teachers in Birmingham. I learned some things from them, and I saw people across ethnicities who modeled to me what fathers should do, and how they interacted with their children. I saw one particular guy, he's white, and I saw him highly engaged with all of his children. They done wonderful things, went to all these wonderful universities, and I modeled. And I said, I'm going to take a little bit of that from him and use that to help guide me. And so what I'm saying is that no matter where people are coming from, the depths of poverty, structural racism, that we will have people who are coming to our lives, and that we can learn from them. And so my number one thing is be a student of people who are exemplifying what you hope to be. Okay, study them.
Yeah, Jerome, excellent answer. Appreciate that. Um, what I would say, Craig, is to an individual. If I'm speaking to an individual in his 20s, the first thing that I would say is you are responsible for your life. Okay, you are responsible for your life, and the last chapter to your life has not been written yet. You are the author, you are the director, you are the producer, you are writing the script. So number one, you have to have an attitude that you can do it and that you can make it. You have to have a positive attitude. If you have a negative attitude about learning, then you're not going to learn very well. If you have a positive attitude about learning, then you can learn better and your chances will be better. So, I would tell him he'd have to change his attitude. I would tell him to read for 30 minutes a day. I would have him meditate for a little while to focus on what he loves and what he really loves, because I did not believe that man was born to work for a living but to live his making, and in living his making he can make his living. You have to really love and enjoy what you do, because what you do, you are literally trading your life for it. So if you're not happy doing what you do, then get out of it and find something that you love doing, because you're trading your life for time. I would tell that individual, listen, I will coach you for free. I get paid thousands of dollars to coach people. I will coach you for free, but you have to do exactly what I tell you, because I know what to do and I know how you can achieve this and get to your destiny. But if you don't do exactly what I'm telling you, then it won't work for you, and you're wasting my time, so I'm not going to do it. But, attitude, focus, discipline, routine, and commitment. If you can do those things, then you can have a better future for yourself. It's really that simple. And I want to go back to something that Jerome and Craig said. So Jerome, you were talking about earlier about knowing where you come from and knowing your history. and this leads into what you said as well, Craig, with your children, that you haven't had those type of conversations with them yet. But I started very, very early with my children, speaking to them about where human origins, where they come from. Mankind started in Africa, and teaching them about the African continent, to the point that my wife and I were called up to the school, because my son's got a photographic memory, especially when it comes to geography and maps. And the teacher was trying to say that Egypt is in the Middle East. And my son was having this big debate with her about, no, Egypt is not in the Middle East. Egypt was on the continent of Africa. And I don't think that the teacher really knew that Egypt was in the continent of Africa, because they're taught that it's in the Middle East. So the teacher may have been ignorant a little bit about where, Egypt really is. And then my daughter, when your daughter's almost there, Craig. When my daughter was in kindergarten, and they were talking about the discovery of America, my daughter said, well, I don't understand. How could Columbus have discovered America when people were already here? So she's having a debate, with the teacher as well. So we're getting called, down to the school, and my wife and I like, listen, a fact is a fact. You cannot change the fact. It's a fact. It's part of history. And then and you guys were also talking about lies in history, right? And Winston Churchill, former Prime Minister of England, who's known historically as leader of the free world, right? Winston Churchill says that, what is history? These are his words. What is history but a set of lies agreed upon? And he said that history will be kind to Great Britain because I'm going to write it. So it's going to be up to your generation, Craig, to rewrite history and tell the truth, tell the story, man, the real story, not his story, but our story.
Oh, brothers, I love it, man. Look, here's the wonderful thing about intergenerational wisdom and how it goes. And again, if you have a question, if anybody who's watching has a question, put it in the box. And what we're going to do is, when we get to the questions, we're just going to do 30 seconds each. All right. So let's try to 30-second answer each, so we can get as many questions as possible in. But one of the things that I'm enjoying about this conversation is we've got all of this intergenerational energy, from people who have grown kids to people who have young kids who are on point right now, managing and maintaining family for all of these 82 years. The reason why that's important is social media has opened a window for people to become know-it-alls. You have people who tell you what to do with your children, and they don't have children. You have people who are telling you how to manage relationships, and they're relationships coach, and they have a string of broken relationships. You have people who are telling you how to be experts in business, and they're in bankruptcy. So it's important for us to create spaces where we're dealing with people who have manifested fruit in our lives, especially when we're talking about creating templates for family and community and spiritual success. You always want to be in and around people who have demonstrated success in the areas that you are seeking for yourself. So in this space here, we're not talking from philosophy, we're not talking from theory, we're talking from practice and from seeing the fruit. So even though there may be struggles, because I could ask a question, a 30-second round of how easy is maintaining family and marriage, right? And we would all, right? Look, everybody, right? But it's encouragement it's encouragement for people to know that, no, it's not supposed to be easy. Of course it's not easy. That's why people don't do it. That's why people quit. That's why people decide not to be involved, because it is indeed a calling. And when you're having this calling, you're being committed and you're staying in this space. And that's what community needs. It needs consistency, it needs commitment, and it needs us to be able to work even through the difficult times, even through the contrasting times, to be able to say, I am here. We're going to make sure that we do whatever we can to make this unit successful, to make this community successful, and we're going to be here. It is that assurance that makes sure that we're going to be around generationally as a community, as families. Let me go and get some comments, and I got a couple of comments in. Sister Keisha said, I'm really enjoying this conversation where the spaces for the young men to gather for support and guidance. I'm in Nashville. My son is 28. Yes, there are spaces that are needed. One thing that we have done here at Infinity for years, Keisha, is we've always done some kind of men's group, men's retreat. And because of COVID, we were not able to fully expand this space the way we wanted to. But there are two things that we will be doing. One is a men's retreat for grown men to come together. Word up for all of you brothers here. I'm tapping all of y'all to come to Nashville because we're going to have this awesome event where people contribute their energy to passing on this generational wisdom to the young. But we're also going to have available spaces where younger people, we're talking about teens and young adults, to be able to grab some of this wisdom too. That's the commitment that I can make as a spiritual leader, as an interspiritual leader, that people of all faiths and traditions and backgrounds will be able to come to this space. That is the entire purpose of 641 West Nocturne Drive. And so I'm going to tap into these brothers to bring them into this space and to be in this online space so that we can support one another in creating those spaces there. She said her son's 28. Wondering about, really quick, we'll do a 30-second round on this. Stacy has an idea. Stacy has a question. She's wondering about what are the panel's thoughts about the student protests at Howard University? Whoever wants to jump in and give us 30 seconds, give us 30 seconds. And of course, I'll give you 35.
They are right on. They are doing what is expected of them. We have to all support them because they're not just fighting an administration. They're really fighting what people call a neoliberal effort. That is, this is a thing about business and money. And so administrators at all universities, not just Howard, are really in an interesting relationship with entrepreneurs or business people because it's about extracting resources as much as they can and not putting anything back. So it's profit driven. And so we see universities, we see public schools, particularly like around charter schools, all that is now so much profit driven and not necessarily in the interest of the student. They've taken students, intellectual and academic scholarly, and even development for creating livelihoods out of the equation. And so I support the students wholeheartedly. A lot of us, Dr. Reverend Jeff Carr did something similar at Tennessee State University about 30 years ago. My wife and I, that I married, we were leading something similar, not at that level, but to create a Black Culture Center at Austin Peay State University. So students have done this. And so we just need to support them. They are right on.
My 30 seconds on that is probably less than 30 seconds. As Dr. Jerome said, 30 years ago, we shut down the buildings at Tennessee State University for 14 days. We went on a 9-day hunger strike. It resulted in $100 million plus being spent on Tennessee State University, being brought up to standard with other campuses. They tried to expel us. They tried to throw me in jail, the leaders in jail. We fought for amnesty, which is what the students at Howard are fighting for. Keep fighting. You have our support. You have the nation's support. And it's going to work out well. You are going to manifest it. And if there's anything any of us can do to assist, we're going to be there for you, plain and simple. I think that's a good way to wrap that. I got some other spaces on here that I know, and I'll go immediately to Craig and to Daryl to ask a couple of questions, especially, that's a good question from Denzel. Denzel says, for young men who are entering their 30s, this is Craig's era, what skills or advice would you give them to maximize on their next decade? So from 30 to 40. Craig had something, and then you two give us 30 seconds each.
I got to take this one, definitely. Brother, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, you've heard what Brother D. Clark has to say. First of all, take all that advice. Yes, definitely. You want to maximize the next 10 years? If you really want to maximize it, start getting up at 4:45 every day. Now, in order to do that, you got to go to bed at like 10. I just started to realize what the statement early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise really means. First of all, do that. Get up every day, work out, read, meditate. Start your days like that. Go out, get 3 suits, one black, one gray, one black, one gray, one navy blue. Make sure you are focused on productivity. Stop chasing women. Please stop chasing women so much. Okay, I get it. But if you really want to maximize your time, trust me, you maximize these next 10 years, women will be chasing you. You won't find it hard to acquire a wife that you want. I do know that. So do those things along with reading 50 to 100 pages every day. Most of the books you come across, pick it up, read it, learn something new, continuously add value to yourself. Look for certifications over the next 10 years that you can pursue, or other exploits, be they in business. Find a mentor in multiple different areas: spiritual mentor, financial mentor, emotional or mental mentor. They can be the same man, or maybe they can be siloed in different areas. Specific, maybe these are their different areas of expertise. Do not waste time thinking that I got time. You don't know how much time you have on this earth. Kobe Bean Bryant died at what, 43, 44, and that brother had accomplished enough by that time that most people will accomplish in their lifetime. So folk, look at what all your other friends are doing, and most of the other men that are around you that are 32, 30, or entering their 30s, 29, do the opposite of that. Chances are you're headed down the right path at the very least in that way. Well, not to bring him up, but Walt Disney, they say he used to ask like, he used to have a terrible idea. If he had an idea, he'd ask like 10 people. And if nine of them said no, that terrible idea wouldn't work, he would go with it every time because he figured 90% of the people were headed in the wrong direction anyway. So that's something you can do. Find older people, older men who are on their purpose and focus, and get around them. And just there's so much more I want to say, but those are the main things. If I had to tell you, do that, and please follow a lot of what you heard Brother D. Clark say, because he is spot on with that information.
To that, is that, do not seek success. Seek to become a person of value. And when you do that, the success will find you. And what I would tell, brother Denzel, is that work on your communication skills. It's very important that you're able to communicate effectively, because once you open your mouth, you tell people who you are. And then after you work on your communication skills, then work on the art of persuasion, being able to convince people confidently. Do those things, and you'll be on your road to a higher quality of life.
That's awesome. Dr. Jerome, do you want to chime in anything on that real quick?
No, those were great
Okay.
responses.
Awesome, great. All right, so let's go to Terrell, who's got a good question. And scroll down, Tony, so I can see what else is next coming up for me. Good, this is great. Terrell has a good question. And again, if we could do it briefly, that'll keep us in line. Because we could, again, this is needed for a massive retreat, but I want to be mindful of the time so that we can have a nugget that people can go to online and say, hey, I'm going to share this with 100 people today. Terrell has a question. How are or were your relationships with your fathers? And how does or did that impact your life? I'll start. My dad didn't graduate from high school. He was the oldest of 11 kids. And my grandfather, his wife had those 11 kids. She died at 49 years old. So he had to raise all of those kids. He had the privilege of raising those kids by himself. And he made sure none of them ended up awry. So that got passed on to my father, who came and met my mother. He didn't have a high school education. He was an Army vet, but he was there for us. He got up, he went to work every day. He got up and walked to work when I was little at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that 4 a.m. thing is resonating until he got his car in order. Raised 3 young people, infused us with education. He was there for us. He didn't take us to basketball games and do all that kind of thing. But he was a little bit older, but he imparted wisdom on us that to this day affects everything that I do. So our relationship was strong. I could always talk to him about things. And to this day, I miss him. And that's the impact that he had on my life.
Yeah, so Can you hear me okay? Yep. So, my dad, got into a little bit of trouble when I was younger, so he wasn't in the home, and so my mother basically raised my sister and I, and they ended up getting a divorce. But as Brother Craig said, you find positive people that are doing good things, and my mother, always kept me involved in different little organizations and things like that. And one of my best friends growing up, he had his mother and father, so I was at his house all the time watching that. And when your parents aren't in the home, well, when your parents aren't together, that seems to be a cycle, so that the next generation, they're not together, and then the generation after that, they're not together. So for me, I was very, very focused on making sure that I didn't go down that same path. So I was patient, used the law of vibration and attraction to attract my beautiful wife, and to make sure, my goal was to break the cycle. And so far, we've done a good job of breaking that cycle. So, I used it as a positive influence and not a negative. You could have gone down the wrong road. I could have followed the same path, but I said no. I'm not going to do that. My mother wouldn't let me do that. She always put positive material around me. Whenever I had to do a report for school, it had to be on somebody black. So I learned about Dr. Charles Drew and Benjamin Banneker, and so many other, Garrett Morgan, so many other, the real McCoy. All these black inventors and historical figures to be that positive image in my life.
Yeah. Should I go? I'll just go ahead and go. One of the things I want to say about that, I know I had already made some statements about in terms of had a father who didn't have a relationship with. But one of the things, honestly, I would tell people is that I grew up and never thought about a father. I just didn't. We grew up. Our mother raised us, six boys, and there were because we're in a public housing community, and that also is a really deep poverty in Birmingham, what we grew up in, because public housing was a step up for us. There were a group of black people lived in like slum areas, and so that was where we first lived. And there was the structure of what was going on created a situation in which a lot of children were growing up without their biological fathers around. And so I didn't grow up with this notion of missing a father ever. And I thought about it when I got older. So I'm sure it impacted my life in the sense that, but there were other people. I had older brothers. There were other men in the neighborhood who, you can look and get some information about what being a man is. As I grew older, I did have coaches who were there and they showed me what manhood, black manhood was. But so sometimes we don't know how it impacts as I got older and started thinking deeply about the biological or the genealogical issues in my family, have making sure my children knew who their relatives were. I then thought about it and then realized maybe there was something I did miss, um, but what I'm saying is that sometimes a father in the home, so we have to think broadly about notions of black family structure. And some of that, we've always had extended family. And quite often, in terms of the black experience, generally, this is very African that, my uncles, my mother's brothers played like father roles to me, and sometimes. So I saw fatherhood or displayed in a lot of different ways. So what I'm saying is that as a people, we have to, given our circumstances, social circumstances, that the notion of fatherhood or has to be thought about within an extended family structure too. Sometimes it's not always in a nuclear family. And so I've thought about that, and it has shaped the way I parent my children, but also to making sure that I'm really deeply in touch with my nieces and nephews who don't have their biological fathers in their lives. So I'm almost always the first person they call when they want any advice around from a black male perspective. They call me. I'm in touch with almost all of my nieces and nephews, very deep relationship with them. So I realized that's my role too.
Why am I supposed to be talking? Okay. So with my father, basically, an amazing, profound impact on my life. Like he was there. My dad was in the military, so through adolescence or whatever, when I was growing up through that, all the way up to about a teenager, my dad was most of the time on ships, so he wasn't there, but I always felt him. Like always felt them. Maybe it was because he was thinking about me, like he told me he always was. Me and my brother Martin, and then he got us when I was 13, going on 14, and from that point on, as far as he was concerned, we lived with him. And even though I was thinking initially that was going to be a year, it turned out to be, well, yeah, just the rest of my adult life, which made perfect sense when I thought about it. I was like, man, he was spot on. He got us just in time, snatched me out of Tampa, Florida, snatched my brother out of Baltimore. And the reason, and when I look back at it now as to where I would be had he not done that, or had I gone back home or whatever, it's like you would not be looking at the man you're looking at today. That is for certain. And it goes back to my confidence or whatever it is. Like, because sometimes there have been people, and maybe there have been times in my life where I've come off the people as cocky, and I do apologize for that. That was not intentional. But when it comes down to, like, there was sometimes where people will have a problem with me. They'll be like, "You think you're this, or you think that," and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Like, I wasn't talking crazy or anything, or talking wildly, or being what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't have delusions of grandeur about myself. Essentially, I mostly had this quiet confidence, and it came from my mother and father. I had a mother and father that loved me, uh, and that were really involved in my life, especially my father. So really, I remember him telling me one time, if you do all this great stuff because of the way your life's been set up to a degree, even though, yeah, I come from the hood and whatever else, and that's all good, but it's like it won't even be that special. And I've realized now, he's right. It's not gonna be that, because people gonna look at like, oh well, yeah, look at your family. It reminds me of, like, when I've read those historical stories of findings of people, like they would introduce themselves like, I am so and so of this, and then they would name their parents, and they would say, I am Count so and so of this land, son of this man, son of this woman. And it was like they would do that partially so truly, this is who I am. This is the stock I come from. This is where I come from. And a lot of my confidence, I had to realize, came from just watching my father set this example. He's a naval officer. I remember him coming to my school. This was a pivotal part of my confidence, a memory that I didn't even think would stick out. It was like career day, parent day, or whatever it was. Seventh grade, comes through Mr. Burr's class, it was geography class, and he, actually shows up that day, like randomly, basically. I wanted him to, but I didn't know for certain whether he'd have the time. He comes through and he's full dressed in his officer navy blues. He's got this white hat in his hand, and I'm just like, when he walks in the door, I'm like, man, that's my dad. Like that. It was one of those moments for me. I was like, whoa, that is my dad. And he stands in front of everybody's looking. Even my teacher was like, man, this guy's impressive. Like, I remember that. And everybody in the class, all attention was immediately fixed on him from the time he entered the room to the time he left. And to be able to come into a room with that type of gravitas, wherever it may be, even though it's little children, and it's a teacher in a middle school, still, even him walking down the halls, I could tell people were stopping, like, who's this guy? Like, basically. And that stuck out to me as a moment, and I've seen my father do that multiple times over the course of my life since then. And it's like, yeah, if people are wondering where it comes from, it starts at home. It starts at home with people's parents. If you're wondering how somebody can go out into the world and already be confident, well, they have the love. It's like when I walk into a room, it's not just me. My mother and especially my father are walking in right behind me, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I always am able to have that level of quiet confidence, whatever it may be. And that's the impact largely that my father has had on my life. And I definitely want to be able to impart that and pass that along to my children as well. But I have to give them, of course, something to be proud about. If we want to use the word proud, something to feel good about themselves about, or believe in themselves that this is where I come from, this is the stock I come from. So this I am capable and able of doing great things.
Gentlemen and brothers, I want to thank you because we're going to wrap. You have no idea because the other microphones aren't on, but the people who are present in the space, our tech crew, Sister Kanitha, everybody has been snapping throughout. On the space here on the chat box, people have been contributing and saying the things that they have said to affirm what's being said today. So I want to thank you all for taking the time today to impart your knowledge, your wisdom, the information, everything. I always tell people that when you have a panel like this, you got to wrap it up in style. So to wrap it up in style, I'm going to throw out some notes that we got from the discussion. No Tech Tuesday. It was popular. If you're thinking about doing stuff, consider No Tech Tuesday is a great idea. But get the family together because this creates rituals that allow you to imprint young people with memories that last for their entire lives. Family time, dinner, eat together, talk together, do those things together. Take time to do activities that expand the mind. Put down the machine, pick up the book. Put people around role models of success. Again, not just theorists, but people who are actually doing the great things and have accomplished great things. Friends, be mindful of friends. That's a word that we throw out often, but friends are people who literally you can lean on sometimes more than you can with blood. We know with family tends to be defined in this day and age more by loyalty and energy than it is just by the DNA. But wherever you are, keep that circle of friends tight. Be around people who are going to continue to pour positive into you. Be the light in the room. Beware of people who, when they come in the room, they take everything down, because that means that they are practicing the utter selfishness of wanting everybody to operate in a vibrational frequency of misery. When you find people who are always working to find the good, that's how you know you're in alignment. Focus on who I am as a human being and where I am in the world. Also, I'm adding, there are no excuses. When I was pledging, and of course I can send a shout out to young brother Craig, young strong member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I also know that brother Dr. Jerome Morris, Alpha Phi Alpha, along with myself, but many of us, no matter where we are, even as independents, strong independents like brother D. Clark, we all have heard the phrase, excuses are tools of the incompetent that build monuments to nothing, and those who specialize in them seldom succeed at anything else. Do not be a master of making excuses. Do not become a master of making excuses. And enjoy and embrace that moment, that space of being a dad, of being a husband, of being a friend, of being a brother, of being a supporter, of being a model, because it's a special gift. And it's a gift we have to keep in this space today. I'm going to give you a quick outro. So each one of you, give us one sentence of advice that you want to share in parting that people can remember and take with them for today. Morris. We'll go with Dr. Morris first. Go ahead,
You want to
Doc.
go with me first? One piece of advice, there are a lot of things, but just remember also that our lives are in phases or stages. And so there are different points in which you have to function differently. So, in terms of a marriage, in terms of when you parent, sometimes you are teaching your children and sometimes they will teach you. So, just be open to that we operate in these different phases.
Go ahead, Brother
I'm
Craig,
sorry.
and then we'll wrap it up with D. Clark.
And we're just giving our last thoughts or specific. Okay.
Give us our
Well,
last thought. If you could get a sentence or two of your last thoughts of advice that you'd pass on from the place you are in life.
We underestimate what we can do in the decades and overestimate what we can do in a year. I would say begin your plan, especially to the young brother who's looking to smoke or maximize the next decade. To anyone looking to do that, truly set your goals very high, back them out, and begin to plan, create a plan around what you need to do daily in order to achieve that goal. And do not underestimate what you can accomplish over the course of a decade, but also do not overestimate what you can do in a year. Pace it out. Whatever it is, it likely can be achieved over a 10-year period.
Brother Jeff, I'm going to come to Nashville and we're going to do a success workshop when you have your men's retreat, and I saw some things in the chat box about the women that need this too. So, we can do this for the young women and for the young men. Do a 1-hour workshop. I'm going to do it for free and it will be a lot of fun. My piece of advice is put in the effort and commitment, because when you put in the effort and commitment, you'll find out that your results will go up as well. I do what I say. Brother Jeff can show you videos of me running at 4:30 in the morning, exercising. I do what I say. Put your heart into it. Believe in yourself. You are not here by accident. You have greatness within you. You can bring out that greatness. We are not the creator. We are not God, but each one of us has a spark of divinity within us that gives us the ability to create. This is why you see us on this Restream studio right now, because it came out of the mind of a man or a woman. The computer, the laptop that you're on came out of the mind of a man or a woman. We can create great things. I'm your guy, D. Clark, motivated and blessed. Soak it up. I am.
Nobody does it like D. Clark, y'all. So unofficially, I want to thank each one of you before I let you go out of the boxes today. A shout out to everyone. Dr. Jerome Morris, Brother D. Clark, Daryl Clark, the creative thought scientist, young entrepreneur and visionary, Brother Craig Major. I send my heart to you, brothers. I love you. I appreciate you. All of Infinity appreciates you. And we appreciate the work that you do in this community to be a foundation, to be a light. We send love to you and your families, and thank you all again for joining us today.
Thank you. Ashe.
As we come to this place, you all, it's time to end the service. But we have appreciated you being here today. I'm excited about being in this space. Sister Keisha reminded us that our space of retreating for men is needed. Our space of retreating for women is needed. I'm sending a shout out to Sister Kenitha because much of this grew out of the annual women's sleepover retreat that she does. And y'all think, look, man, we're chasing the sisters because she does a retreat. Oh my gosh. We're trying to say, hey, listen, the women love it so much. We got to have something for the men. So if you're listening, you have a young man or you're young or elder man, whatever it may be, if you're interested and you want to be a part of this coming experience that we're going to put together, send us an email. The email's on the screen, infinitynashville@gmail.com, and just say, I'm in. Just say, I'm in. Send us an email, say, I'm in. Or send us a DM on Facebook and say, I'm in. We'll put you on the mailing list and let you know when we get ready to manifest this. I'm so humbled by the brothers who joined me today. I'm humbled by those of you who stayed. We speak that you receive something that has fed your spirit, that has let you know that we are moving into a space of success. If you need this kind of community space, then Infinity is the space for you. We are blessed to be able to do this digitally every single week because of the support that you pour in, because of the energy that you place in this space. So I speak that something was shared today that has blessed your spirit, that has ignited you, that has moved you to a higher space of understanding and comprehension and light and love. Looking forward to seeing many of you from 1 to 3 today as we hand out candy bags. We're going to get through with service and get on back here and pack what we didn't pack. It's first come, first serve. So get here as soon as you can, 641 West Nocturne Drive. As you meditate today, as you begin to close the week out, take a deep breath and release. Recognize that as we move from this place into a world that awaits our light, we put our voices together as one, tuning our frequency into balance with the divine universe for the peace, love, and joy that we accept as present in the right now. We speak that the love of God, the wisdom of the ancestors, the infinite and abundant power of the universe rest, rule, and abide with you henceforth, now and forevermore. Let us all say together the words of power. Amen, Amen, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe, and so it is. Till I talk to you next week, remember, when you get information in, it does become knowledge. When you take knowledge, you put it into practice and produce results. That's when it becomes wisdom. Y'all be wise. On behalf of the entire crew here at Infinity Fellowship, this is Rev Jeff reminding you, I love you. That's a fact. You cannot change. See you next Sunday for Spirit Sunday. Tune in and bring a friend. Peace and blessing.